What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your April 24th, 2:05 live review. The very last televised show we're going to see, other than NXT, before the Greatest Royal Rumble this Friday. You know, Friday morning when we're all either at work or at school, unless you're some of the e-beggars here on YouTube. Now, you guys know the drill. If you don't, here's the drill. Gonna do the house cleaning first. Go back one video. Please check out the Aftermath video, the latest video in the Aftermath series, the post Big Four pay-per-view series that I did with myself, Kristen, and Guapo, talking everything. We know I don't talk about too much main roster stuff, but we talk the fallout from NXT Takeover, we talk the fallout from WrestleMania, the Raws and SmackDowns after WrestleMania, the Superstar shakeup, and give a little bit of sort of preliminary thoughts going into this special event in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, the Greatest Royal Rumble. A lot of fun with those guys. Thank you very much to them, as always, for joining in on that. Thank you to MizArc10, who commented on that video and said hashtag I made it to the end, because admittedly it is a 3-hour video. So to any of you who make it all the way to the end, you guys are fucking troopers. We were all exhausted by the end of that video, and it was stupid o'clock in the morning. If it is your first time here, check out the other playlists up in the annotation up above. We got NXT reviews, we got 205 live reviews, we have the aforementioned Aftermath series, we have the topical series, which is off the cuff. There's the Q&A series. Go back to my last Q&A if you want your questions answered in the next Q&A. Next week, or lost my train of thought, the week before Backlash, which I think is next week. Gotta check the calendar, don't have one in front of me right now. Probably going to do another tackle video. Probably going to do another pay-per-view pick'em for Backlash. Congratulations once again to the TakeOver New Orleans and WrestleMania winners. I think it was Matt D and MizArc10. A lot of fun. No prizes. You guys know the drill. It is just for fun, but it is interesting to see how often Kristen and I do really, really badly. Guapo's usually kind of middle of the road, and I think he's won a couple of times. Kristen and myself just suck pretty much. But let's talk about tonight. Tonight opens up with a video package voiced over by Drake Maverick, basically talking about what we're going to get tonight, which is the Cruiserweight. It's a Cruiserweight show. The Gauntlet match for the #1 contendership to the Cruiserweight Championship at the Greatest Royal Rumble against Cedric Alexander. We didn't know the competitors until now, but we could have pretty much predicted that it was going to be Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, KALISTO, TJP, and Mustafa Ali. What you couldn't have predicted was that Mustafa Ali would be the first competitor in the match. Mustafa Ali and TJP start the match. There really isn't any other segments, little snippets of things, little in-ring promos, whatever. There is just the Gauntlet. There are some interviews that take place in the sub-screen while the match is going on. I'm not really going to touch on those too much, just because they are a typical generic thing. You got Cedric saying, oh, here's 5 of our greatest talents. Any one of them will be a challenge to me on Friday. It is interesting to hear them talk about a pay-per-view and say on Friday. It was weird enough when NXT started doing pay-per-views and wrestlers would say, this Saturday I'm going to beat you up, because it's so ingrained in us as wrestling fans to you get that big old school announcer voice. It's going to be the fight this Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Not Saturday, or in this case, Friday. Mustafa Ali versus TJP. They do a lot to, on commentary. Nigel McGuinness is back. He had a kid. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. But Mustafa Ali is there. He's fighting TJP. Lost my train of thought once again. Fuck. Sorry, guys. Why do you watch my videos? That's a thing. Mustafa Ali, who had his shot at WrestleMania. TJP, who was the first ever Cruiserweight champion. They talk a whole lot about how his attitude has changed since then, and we're off to the races. They talk a lot, again, on commentary about how TJP, he's a lot of flash, he's a lot of arrogance, and he does a lot of high-flying maneuvers, but there was a time where he was known strictly as a submission grappler type, and that pretty much sets the scene for this match. Collar and elbow tie-up, and Ali works the arm early and works it into a key lock. TJ chain wrestles himself into a front face lock, armbar by Ali, shoulder tackle by TJP, a series of trips by Ali, and a low drop kick in the head by Ali, which is just dirty, just folds him right over with this drop kick to the back of the head. It's nice. Enziguri by Ali, drop kick by TJP, and TJP bails out. Forearm by TJP. Octopus submission in the ropes by TJP. It's just, he's got him in the octopus, but he's using every single rope in the succession there just to reinforce that octopus stretch. It's really, really nice. Snake Eyes and a mudhole stomp by TJP and a slingshot senton. He does the slingshot senton, and I know it's not on the same level. I'm not comparing the two men, but it does remind me a lot of Eddie Guerrero. The way he does it, the fluidity of how he does it, and the arrogance that backs it up, it does remind me of heel Eddie Guerrero, I'm just saying. Surfboard submission by TJP, and he turns it into a straight jacket choke. There's a hangman and a Russian leg sweep by TJP, and the Rings of Saturn, I think. The camera angle was super bad. I think it was the Rings of Saturn. If it wasn't, somebody correct me down in the box below. Chops by Ali, a running head scissor, a pendulum kick, and a back elbow by TJP. But this is where the whole match changes, and this is where the story for the next little while is laid out. TJP goes to the top rope. You figure he's going to do a crossbody or an elbow drop or something like that. But no, he comes off the top rope with a missile drop kick. But it's a missile drop kick to Mustafa Ali's kneecap. And Mustafa Ali crumples. I mean, kudos to him for the great sell job, because I thought it was a botch for a split. There's two spots in this match that I thought were a botch, where somebody could have legitimately gotten hurt. This was the first one. He buckles and crumples to the mat, and it looks, but the way he falls, I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words a little bit, I apologize for that. The way he falls, the way he crumples, the way he sort of disintegrates in that moment, you expect to see his kneecap sitting in about the 5th row. Knee bar by TJP, and I figured TJP was going to get the win right there. We get some body jabs by Ali, and a corner spear by TJP. Second rope tornado DDT by Ali, and with a Herculean amount of adrenaline, he actually manages to pull off the 054 for the win. They pause. This is the thing I don't like about this particular gauntlet match. I like the gauntlet matches where as soon as the pinfall goes down, the next guy is out there. No time to breathe. It tells a better story. I think in this case, because of the fast-paced nature of the cruiserweights, it does make sense to have that little breather, you know, go through some replay packages, let the guy catch his breath, whatever. But I will say, typically, the traditionalist in me, I guess you could say, likes it when there is no gap, when you go from one to the next to the next to the next. I'm giving it a pass for that exact reason, but it's not the best. I would have done it differently, but then again, I don't work for WWE. My paycheck is not that big. The next opponent, however, as they're talking about how his leg is disintegrated and lying on the ground beside him, yeah, his next opponent is Drew Gulak, who's coming down to the ring, literally taunting him from the ramp. Oh, are you hurt? Are you hurt? Did something happen to your leg there? Just Drew Gulak going from the goofy guy with the placards and the protests and whatever to this psychotic whatever this is great. I don't care about him, but I'm entertained by him. Him and Tony Nese. I will always picture them as a unit, even though they're fighting each other right now, and they fall under that same category. They fall under the same category that guys like Roderick Strong fell under before they did something with him. But it's on one hand, if he's not on the show, I don't care. But on the other hand, if he is on the show, I do care about what he does in the ring. I hope that makes some semblance of sense. It probably doesn't. I apologize. Front slam against the ropes by GULAK as soon as he gets in the ring. And when I mean front slam, I mean like front slam, body hits the ground, legs hit the ropes. So immediately your leg is fucked even more. Trip on the outside by Ali, top rope crossbody, several pin attempts by Ali, and a huge lariat by GULAK. One thing I will say about GULAK, and it seems rudimentary, but it's really not. When GULAK hits you, or hits somebody in the ring, doesn't hit me because I'm just sitting here watching on the TV, but when he hits somebody, it looks like it hurts. When he hits a lariat, it makes me think of JBL's clothesline from hell. And I know people don't think very highly of JBL these days. Oh, he's a bully. Okay, fuck off. But, you know, even back in the day when he hit the clothesline from hell or the big, huge lariat, the guy was headless. Head chopped off lariat, and that's what GULAK makes me think of. GULAK boots and kicks and props the leg in the ropes for a long time. There's a lot of almost uncomfortable levels of leg work on the knee, and Ali points to Ali for selling I give points to Ali for selling his leg as well as he does throughout this entire thing. Faceplant by GULAK, a knee bar, and elbows to the leg, which is great. Body shots by Ali, who tries for a head scissor, but he blocks it. He blocks it in such a way that it almost looks like a Styles Clash position, but no. Instead, GULAK steps through to what? Obviously, you got one fucked up leg. It's going to be a single leg Boston Crab, isn't it? Oh, yes. Enziguri by Ali. Don't ask me how that works. Powerbomb by GULAK, who for a little guy pulls off a very impactful powerbomb. Good for him. Back to the single leg crab. Ali eats the turnbuckle. GULAK works the leg in the ropes some more. Facebuster by Ali. Don't ask me how he did that. But then we got Drew GULAK in a situation, and the only way I can explain it to you is, you know, the typical wrestling spot where somebody goes for a spear, the opponent moves, and they sort of shoot between the second and third turnbuckle, and they feign or they make believe that their shoulder actually hit the post. He's basically in that position without going for the spear. And Ali, who's already on the top turnbuckle, picks up his leg and turns it into a crab, assisted by the two sets of turnbuckles, which is nice. And it also fits into that story that you guys know I love. We've gone for the Boston Crab several times. Mustafa Ali says, fuck you, anything you can do, I can do a fuck ton better. Top rope crossbody to the outside by Ali, because he's crazy. Chop block by GULAK, working on the leg some more. Tornado DDT by Mustafa Ali. GULAK tosses Ali from the top, because Ali looks like he's going to the top one more time for something. And I gotta back up once again. Ali, every time he's gone to the top rope, looks like the look on his face is like the prospect of climbing that turnbuckle is Mount Everest, because his leg is fucked. It's awesome. But he gets himself up there one more time. GULAK tosses him off the top. He catches his shoulder and face on the steel steps on the way down. It's fucking dirty. He's out. He's unconscious. GULAK drags his... I can speak, I swear. I promise you guys I know how to talk. GULAK drags his lifeless body in for the GULAK while the referee is yelling at him, what the fuck are you doing? This is, like, you've already won. This is over. What the fuck are you doing? Ali, a corpse in the ring. Drew GULAK advances, but Drew GULAK now has to deal with Tony Nese. And for the next several minutes, what we have is the explosion or the Hulk out of Tony Nese, with a very sad ending, unfortunately. Double leg takedown, ground and pound by Nese. Heavy body shots in the corner by Nese. Knee lift and a series of kicks and a suicide dive by Nese. Nese brawls, tossing GULAK into the rail twice. Chops by Nese, who tosses him into the commentator's table twice. Crossbody forearm combination, followed by another forearm on the outside by Nese. Mudhole stomps by Nese, and a running knee in the corner, which could have gotten the pin, but then his bravado gets the best of him. Drags him back to that corner spot once again. Sort of the same position that Zack Ryder used to do for the Broski Boot, except he does it with the knee, which is nice. He takes an exorbitant amount of time exposing his kneecap, pulling down the knee pad, etc. Goes for the second. He misses the second one. And for reasons, GULAK, who should be dead, locks in the GULAK and Tony Nese loses. He's shown in the back, all pissed off that he lost, and I would be too, because this is the part of this match that made fuckloads of no sense. Mustafa Ali, I mean, yes, he was already damaged goods when GULAK got there, but he still pounded the shit out of him. Tony Nese, who's the biggest guy, he's basically the Chris Masters of the Cruiserweight division, except better, took a couple of minutes and literally turned him into Hamburger. The way he was able to, like, sort of have himself his own little mini John Cena moment, pop up, lock in the submission, and get a win seemingly easily, which is kind of annoying, was bad. But then you've got the final competitor, and it is Kalisto. And how the fuck popular is Kalisto? You look at this, they're doing an international tour. International fans are somewhat more casual. They like the baby faces. What the fuck are we going to get out of this? Are we going to get Drew GULAK, or are we going to get Kalisto, who's a lot of fun and can go to Saudi Arabia and sell a lot of masks? GULAK versus Kalisto. GULAK bails, and this is funny because it lasts almost awkward levels. GULAK bails. Kalisto's, doing his whole lucha stick. He's all excited, he's all pumped, but every time GULAK feigns going into the ring and coming out again, into the ring, out again, Kalisto is, he's getting frustrated. He's losing the momentum or the adrenaline that he had when he was coming out, which is kind of cool by GULAK. Kalisto finally nails him with a drop kick, and they brawl out to the outside. All the time waiting for him to come in, one drop kick, and they're both brawling on the outside. Awesome. Enziguri against... so many cool spots in this match, and I know I sound like I'm gushing because this was a really cool gauntlet, other than the pauses that I talked about. Gets him up against the guardrail and hits him with an enziguri against the guardrail. So you basically, if you want to bring a little bit of reality into this, he wasn't just hitting him with an enziguri, he was squashing his head between the guardrail and his foot, which is always good. But then Kalisto goes for a suicide dive. GULAK not only sidesteps the suicide dive, but he basically javelins him face first into the guardrail, which is nice. GULAK gets him back in the ring, rips away at the mask for a little bit, rips the tail off of Kalisto's mask, which, go back for years on my videos, I have always said about Kalisto, yes, it's cool. I know that, like, you know, his ring gear has all the flaps on it and whatnot, and the mask is, it is what it is. It's traditional, it's this, it's that, it's the next thing. But that long piece he's got on the back of his mask is gonna get stuck on something one day, and it's gonna fuck him up. GULAK pulling the tail off just made me laugh, because it's the only thing that really bothers me. You know, obviously, there's a lot of wrestlers nowadays that have, like, the little flap on their lower part of their on their ring gear, which I don't think looks particularly good. Look at guys like the Ascension, look like guys like Killian Dane, you know, flapping all over the goddamn place. But that one little piece on the back of his mask, it's not that it's annoying, it's not that it takes away from a match or anything like that. It's just, you look at him and you're like, somebody's gonna grab that one day, or it's gonna get stuck between a turnbuckle, or somebody's gonna step on it and you're gonna yank back on your fucking neck. So I laughed a whole lot when he ripped that off, but it's all good. On commentary, they do as they should. They big up the lucha heritage, what the masks mean to them, and the tradition and the identity and all that sort of thing. And it's all good, and it makes GULAK look even more like a dick. Crossface strikes by GULAK and a seated side headlock, boot by Kalisto, head scissor and a super kick. GULAK, sorry, I can't read my own writing. GULAK doesn't, he looks like he's going for another hangman across the top of the turnbuckle, or sorry, on top of the top rope, but Kalisto's so tiny that he basically gets thrown gut first and bounces off the top of the top rope, which is nice. GULAK goes for the GULAK several times, can't lock it in. You can see it coming a mile away. GULAK gets why am I beeping? Why is this a thing? GULAK gets reversed into a Salida del Sol. Kalisto gets the win. He's in there celebrating with the Lucha House Party. It's a little racist and a little stereotypical that they got the Mexican noisemakers whenever they come out to the ring now. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are triggered by that. It makes me smile a whole bunch. Obviously, you got Cedric on the top of the ramp applauding Kalisto's victory, you know, sort of giving him that point. He's like, I'll see you Friday, or he probably said Sunday, because pay-per-views are usually on Sunday. But this was all good. Cedric in the back gave it a cool little feel. I know I haven't really talked about the interviews in the back that much, but it's good. Cedric's gonna face Kalisto. It's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a decent in-betweener match for all the other gigantic shit that's happening this Friday in Saudi Arabia. I mean, you got the 50-man. You got to fill a 50-man battle royal. There's gonna be a couple cruiserweights in there. I mean, fucking Shane McMahon's in it. But that's because we have to throw a whole bunch of people in the Battle Royal that don't like Sammy and Kevin, and that's another story for another day. This was cool. This was really cool. I'm still waiting on that announcement about the tag team titles that we all know is coming, but then again, we're still waiting for the women's tag team titles that are coming on the main roster. And I don't know what's happening. I was going to say, join me tomorrow night for NXT, where we're going to have... But I can't think of what's happening on NXT tomorrow, so I'm just going to say, whatever happens, I hope you join me. I'd love to see where NXT is going now that they've lost so many people. Totally separate from wrestling for a second, but shout out to any of my local friends in the Toronto area. That fucked up shit that happened at Mel Lastman Square the other day, the crazy guy with the van that took out a whole bunch of people. It's really super shit. If you're living elsewhere in the world and don't really know about it, I don't really want to get into it a whole bunch on this channel, because it really is a bummer and it's really, really fucked up. But to anybody in the greater Toronto area that was affected by that, thoughts and prayers are with you. I can't imagine what you guys are going through right now. But I don't want to dwell on that too much. I don't want to leave this on a sour note, but thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you liked it, you know, tell your friends and all that stuff that me and all the other YouTubers tell you to do. But I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.